Hi, everybody. Didn't think I'd miss a day, did you? Well, good morning, and thank you for stopping on by. It is Thursday, and it's a bright and sunny Thursday, so it's nice out there right now. So, yes, it's chilly. Yes, it's breezy, but let's be quite honest. It's not as cold as it's been, and it's not as mild as it will get. All right, so it's February the 12th. It's a Thursday, and we're looking at the next 14 days, taking us from the 12th to the 26th, the end of the month. And the overall pattern seems to be our friend. Now, if you've lived in New England and lived in Connecticut, March can be absolutely wonky, crazy, kooky. So it doesn't mean any of this is over. But as we go through time, the opportunity for Arctic blasts or big nor'easters begins to wane. We're not done. But if we get through like the 26th of the month without anything major occurring, that's fairly significant because we're battling sun angle. And as we go into March, and I always say anything after the Ides of March is not a big deal because it melts really fast. Okay. Mud season, of course, will be upon us at that point. But good morning. And as I always like to do, that's interesting. Oh, I know why. Sometimes, I got a lot of technology up here. Sometimes I just get confused. I'm a guy of a certain age. Rundown. Bright and breezy today. That's the key to the forecast. Bright and breezy and a colder night coming up tonight. So with that rundown, we say top of the morning. A warming trend develops. Doesn't happen overnight. Doesn't happen tonight. But it happens over time. It's gradual, and that's what we need. We've talked about it at length. We don't need a 60-degree rainstorm, and we don't see that happening. So that's good news because river flooding can be a real big deal, and ice jams can be a really big deal for those who live near the river. An old-fashioned winter can turn into an old-fashioned nightmare if things don't go quite right. The holiday storm being President's Day looks like a miss right now, and we'll dive into that deeper. I'm not going to spend a ton of time here today. I will, of course, always answer questions and dig into stuff a little deeper, but there's not a lot happening. So that's good news. If I'm not on here for 45 minutes, that means things are pretty mellow. Good morning to Tatiana, and good morning and happy Thursday to you. Thanks for stopping by. Let's delve into the weather. And I think it's kind of cool because in this space, and I think you've gotten, if you watch once in a while, I really dig this space. I'm up here in the Storm Tracker Weather Lab here at NBC Connecticut, and this allows us to take a deeper dive, and I've joked about it many times, is that there's no news producer in my ear telling me to rap. Did I take my, see, I usually wear this, okay? It's an earpiece, and it goes in my ear, and when we're on television, there's somebody talking to us. So when we're talking, somebody's talking to us. Not a lot, but I get a cue, minute, 30 seconds, 15. And usually it's rap because we have a newscast that has time confinements. When I'm up here, no earpiece. The only rap I get is when I see the numbers go down and people are like sick of listening to Bob talk, and I get it. Okay. So this freedom allows us to dive into things like, and I'll take this full screen. It's this type of a space allows us to talk about something that we kind of dig into once in a while on here. And that jet stream is really, really important, right? The jet stream goes up to the north and down to the south and back to the north. And it's been stuck like that for a big chunk of the winter. So with that, we've had pretty consistent cold. Every so often, a boatload of Arctic air comes right out of, Siberia, comes across the Arctic like last weekend, comes right down into the northeastern U.S. This pattern has set up incredible lake effect snowstorms off to our west and north. We've had a fair amount, running above average snow, nothing epic or historic or anything like that. But you can see there, it's the 15th coldest winter. I've been joking on TV and here that this is an old-fashioned winter. And it is. Now, one of the interesting things about this, it has been sustained really since the weekend after Thanksgiving. We've been chilly almost consistently. We had that like 1 6 or 7 day break in January, but it was nothing, it wasn't like it was warm. We just, we were just a little bit more livable. It's really that to me, the remarkable part is that we can go 90 days. Well, we won't make it to 90 days with sustained cold, but it's been interesting. So out west, it has been bad, okay, with an atmospheric area of high pressure, a ridge of high pressure. There's nothing good about this, okay? The warmest winter in Phoenix history. Salt Lake, the warmest winter in history. Portland, Oregon, second warmest. All right. Here we love to bemoan the fact that we get snow, but we've always gotten snow and we've had a couple of years of fairly easy winters. Out west, they depend on it. Not only for skiing, it's a huge industry, of course, for water, right? Snow melts, turns into water, flows into rivers, goes into reservoirs. They need it badly. Okay, we know that the West, just the lay of the landscape, creates, the lack of water creates a wildfire risk. A couple dry thunderstorms or an arsonist, and you've got yourself a big wildfire. Well, yeah, we don't want that. Sometimes it's a total mistake. Somebody pulls over on the side of the road, their bottom of their car's hot, and it starts a brush fire. So it's not always an arsonist, but mistakes happen. Brush fires happen when people leave campfires out. And this summer, of course, there'll be millions of campers out west. And it's been dry, so that's bad. Okay, that's really, really bad. Okay, so they need precipitation. We've had our fair share, so we don't need it. We're running a little bit below as far as rainfall. But I want to show you the next week or so out west. And I think this is undercooked. But how about Mammoth Lakes? 40 inches of snow. South Lake Tahoe, now that's down at the river or at the lake level, but up in the mountains, Truckee, North Star, Heavenly, oh my gosh, what's the other one? Kirkwood. They're going to get 80 inches of snow in the next week. That's exactly what the doctor ordered, because that's where California gets a lot of its water. So that's really important. Just wanted to share that with you. Oh, hello, sunshine. It's a brisk sun, but it's sunny. Sun feels good if you find a spot that you don't have the wind blowing in your face. And it's just nice. It's nice to see blue skies and sunshine. Okay, so last night was chilly but not cold. We had low temperatures in the teens and 20s. The one thing that did occur, it was a little bit more than I thought it could be, was that we had some snow showers come down out of the north along a frontal boundary. It was generally west of the river, but a coating to a half an inch of snow surprised some people. It was really not a big deal. It didn't create any problems on any roadways or anything like that. And if you really had to clean it up, it's already sublimated probably. You could use a leaf blower. It was light and fluffy and just kind of surprised folks with a little coating of snow. We survived. Now here's Future Radar. We show this to you all the time. I'll dive into some stuff that we don't get a chance to show you a little bit later. And that's including that storm potential for Sunday and Monday, or lack of storm potential. Sun and clouds mixed, a fluttering flurry in the Northwest Hills can't be ruled out when you have a weather pattern like this, but it's fair. Overnight tonight, fair. Keep that in mind. I got something to talk about for tomorrow morning. I hope I put that in my show. If not, I'll get to it. Fair skies for tomorrow morning. Fair skies all day on Friday. Friday night, a few clouds and a few snow showers zip on by. Let me slow that down, because those those keep coming and going in our forecast. So let's just take a look at right there. Okay. What are you doing up at 3:30 on Saturday? Well, Alexis will be coming to work. Our weekend meteorologist, of course, Alexis Clemens. There's a very weak clipper. But if someone's getting up Saturday morning early to get to wrestling or basketball or hockey or going skiing, you might just run into a little bit. I mean, and I say a little bit of light flurry activity. And then it's mostly fair. So we talk about the winds today. They've been blowing around a little bit, a little brisk, a couple gusts to 30. The winds will be in the 15-mile-an-hour range, gusting to 20, maybe a little windier this evening. Not exactly sure why there's a wind increase this afternoon or this evening, but let's just say there's always be a brisk breeze blowing. But hey, considering where we've been this winter, that's nothing. Feels like temperature, we've been below zero. So we'll take, feeling like 25 if you're not dressed accordingly, when the temperature is near 35 today. And then the winds should relax as we go through the night into tomorrow morning. And speaking of tomorrow morning, it will be chilly. To start the day, we'll be down in the single digits in some cases, single digits in teens, lots of sun, less wind, a breeze, but less wind, and 35 or 36, maybe 37 for a high on Friday. And then we just continue that trend, 37, 41, 42, 47. And there's some more model data that supports 45 to 50 on both Monday and Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. But that's pretty amazing. That weekend storm is looking more and more like a nothing burger. I'll get to comments and questions. I see all of you there, and I appreciate it. I'll get to those in just a little while. So when we talk about this potential, yesterday we showed you that there was a sign that this thing could just go out beneath us, and the American forecast model showed that. Well, the European forecast model now shows that similar solution. Going out to sea to our south, there is a little disturbance in the northern stream. If these were timed differently, that this could act to pull this storm north, but it doesn't look like they're going to interact. So maybe a few little flurries or snow showers if you're heading to ski country like so many of you do during this winter break for many of the schools. Okay, so it's not a huge situation. It looks like it goes out to sea harmlessly, but you know me, I'm always watching because things can change. This is Thursday morning, so we got Friday morning, Saturday morning, Sunday morning. So it's still 3.5 days away. So things can change. If the timing of that northern stream, this little disturbance up here, boy, I'm terrible at drawing arrows, but you get the idea. It's if that interacts quicker, and it shouldn't, it would tend to pull the moisture shield north and maybe energize the storm just a little bit. Now, with that in mind, this is what we call the ensemble forecast from the European forecast model. I showed you this yesterday, and the best grouping of these lows is off of Cape Hatteras, and the flow takes it this way, and that takes it out to sea. Now, there's a few members of the ensemble forecast that is a little bit further north. Does that concern me? No, but it just keeps me, close to the vest as far as, if one of these were correct, we'd get slammed with snow. But the consensus seems to be down to the south and out to sea. So that's what we're looking at right this moment. Again, it's weather. Weather can change. So we're always monitoring that potential for change. The people love to talk about artificial intelligence. And this is the AI. This is a run of the artificial intelligence from the Euro. And that same flatter pattern takes this storm out here. And the moisture shield comes close, but it doesn't get here. All right. So that's important to note. Can it change? Yes. Will it? Probably not. But you know what? That's what we see, and that's how we make our forecasts. And this is probably the most important graphic of the morning, is that 8 to 14-day forecast taking us to the 26th. And if you were just to make a really quick conclusion of what this might mean for a jet stream, it'd be something like this. Okay. And it doesn't mean we're going to be, sunbathing in Montauk Point or heading to Ocean Beach in New London. This isn't, March 70s. This is February 40s. But take what you can get, okay? And I just remembered there was something else I wanted to show, and I forgot. I think I can show it, though. There's a couple things. Let's talk about this. This is kind of cool as I just go through my slideshow. Tomorrow morning at 5:15, some people don't want to get up at 5:15. I'm sorry, my phone's going off. I got a lot going on in my life. Okay. All right. So I have a kid studying abroad. So my phone goes off. I have to look at it. She hasn't left yet, but she's going abroad to Madrid, Spain. I never got to go abroad. Leaving New York State was traveling for me when I was her age, but that's okay. Back to this. Tomorrow morning, a SpaceX rocket launch taking a capsule, funny word for it, with astronauts, 4 or 5 of them. I think some are from Russia, which is weird, I believe, and Americans going up to the International Space Station. The reason I bring this up, rockets are being launched not daily, but pretty darn close. When the rocket goes up, as it goes up into the atmosphere, when it's out here a couple minutes after its launch, we look south, east, and the sky is going to be clear. And I'm just saying, it's going to be up at an altitude where the sun coming around the horizon, rocket launch, some sort of contrail, because it's up in the cold levels of the atmosphere. I'm just saying, and again, I'm hoping this will probably be visible from Connecticut. Sometimes they're more visible when they are launched out of Virginia, but this is something that you might want to set an alarm for. 5:10, you put on a winter jacket over your PJs, and you go out and you look in the southern sky. If you have southern exposure, check it out. If you live along the Sound, especially, because there's a lack of, there's Long Island light pollution, but I don't think that matters. I think this could be really cool to see. All right. So I'm just giving you that information because we don't always just have to delve into the meteorology. Sometimes it's just really cool stuff. Okay. So there's that. All right. We'll get to your 10-day forecast in a minute. What I did is I forgot to. Oh, Robert, there were a couple things I wanted to show, but I can't. Okay. That's all right. So there's the viewing from space 10-day forecast. And we'll answer some questions and say hello to you wonderful folks out there. Pretty quiet 10-day forecast. All right. No real big worries here. We've got fair weather Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, right? Monday's a miss. We'll probably drop the cloud today and probably mostly cloudy, maybe a few flurries or a sprinkle, I suppose. Cool enough at upper levels probably to have a few flurries and 45 or 47 for high. Tuesday between systems could be fairly remarkable. A west wind pushes the mercury up into around 50. Slow, steady melting, refreezing at night. In the mornings can be slippery. A few rain showers. This does not look like a big rainstorm. That's what we don't want. So some scattered showers and then quiet as we go into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of next week. All right, this week, of course, is Valentine's Day, and that's nice. So do something nice for your SO. And President's Day right now looks quiet. Okay, so no big shakes as far as that goes. That's your shoreline forecast, and I'll go back to I'm going to leave this map up because it makes me happiest. And with that, we will answer some questions. Okay, so let's just leave that map. That map makes me happy. Okay, let's say hi to everybody. And we will start at the beginning. So sorry if I missed you so far. Hank says, good morning, always checking in. We need a break from the snow for a little bit. Yeah, be careful what you ask for, because what if March turns out to be a total pattern change and there's no more snow? That could happen. Anything can happen. I'm not going to jump up and down about the 45-day forecast, but it's something we have to watch. Hey, Matt. Good morning to you, Mr. McKay. Good morning, Bob. Good morning, Matt. Love it. Hey, Tatiana. Good morning to you. Always smiling. Breezy is an understate. Out on the ice, you can hear the wind train coming through the valley. Are you out fishing? Yeah, Timmy, there's been some gusts to 30. Earlier this morning, there was an odd gust at Central Park, which is saying something, and also White Plains up to 40. I know, breezy. To me, windy is when it's 35 or higher, like 35, 50, 60. That's when the wind has force and it scares you. Saturday morning, that cold front went by. 20 to 35 is kind of just a biting breeze. But I hear you, Timmy. That's one of those things we kind of, everybody has a different take on what's breezy, what's windy. If I'm sailing, a nice 12-mile-an-hour wind. If I'm golfing, that's breezy. Yeah, but I get it. Matt, thank you for showing the Jetstream map like that. I wish I could see that every day, though that image is hard to find online consistently. Matt, if you go searching, look for 300 millibar or 250 millibar maps, and that kind of gives you an idea of where the strongest winds are at the Jetstream level. I suppose you get 500 millibars too, but above that's better. My furnace needs a break. Mary, I hear you. I cannot wait to see those bills, right? John says that Bob Maxon is a national treasure. Why, thank you, John. That's special. I'm joking around. I don't feel like I'm a national treasure, but I tell you what, it's great to have wonderful followers like all of you, and I appreciate the compliment. He sure is, Sensei. Well, I love you guys. Alan says, good morning from South Carolina. Where in South Carolina, Alan? Where do I retire? Where do I go when I do retire? It's not tomorrow, not any day soon. But I always wonder, like when somebody says from South Carolina, are you Hilton Head or Myrtle Beach? Are you inland? What do they call that area of western South Carolina as you head over toward Georgia? I always forget that. Good morning, Bob. Oh, I love that. That's a Grateful Dead and Hartford Whaler icon. Oh, Patch, Connecticut. Oh, hey, Jay. Jay's from Simsbury. Greetings from over on Deepwood Road. Speaking of hockey, Latvia and the U.S., 3:10 p.m. I will be watching. There's no doubt in my mind. That's a big one. Latvia, that'd be a big upset. But, hey, the Olympics, we know that anything's possible. Of course, Tage Thompson from Quinnipiac is the first Quinnipiac alum to play in the Olympics. How cool is that? I have my eyes focused on Quinnipiac a week from Friday. I love college hockey. I love professional hockey. I love high school hockey. Prep hockey is amazing. But next Friday is Cornell versus Quinnipiac, and they're both ranked in the top 10 in the country in NPI. So that's a big game coming up next Tuesday. Next Friday. What am I saying? My goodness. Jen says, good morning, Bob. And I say good morning to you. I plan on getting up for it. David, cool. Yeah, I think it's going to be cool. Yeah. I live on the Sound. There you go, Jen. Set the alarm for 5:10. Go over to the window or go down the street to the beach and look out. I'm telling you right now, I think it'll be memorable. And if you have a really great camera zoom or binoculars, you'll probably even see it better. Okay. Cool from Connecticut. Okay, Jennifer, that's cool. I'm not sure. Gloria. Hey, Gloria. Good morning to you. Okay, what's this? A lot of capitals here from Ryan. Let's see. Hello from Buxty. Always has a favorable warm-up, but down the road we get slammed from a storm of rain or snow. What's your opinion, 2026? Ryan, I've said it over and over again. I'll get back to you, Ryan. Jen asks, will we be able to show it? I don't know brightness magnitude. I mean, we have cameras and they have incredible zooms and we have some incredible camera operators. There's two ways I'm going to try to do that. One would be if we have a field camera, like we always have a reporter out reporting on whatever is reportable, right? Early in the morning. And that camera, because then it's human, right? You got a human eye looking out and then viewfinder and they can find it. Then we have a whole series of cameras that you see all the time that I show you on here all the time. Those are robotics from here linked with the internet. It's a little bit harder because, well, one, they're 4K, so they're incredible resolution, but you got to be able to find it, then zoom in, focus, and it happens fairly quickly. So that'll be a challenge, but we're going to try. It may end up just looking like it'll look like a comet. It'll have a tail. It's a rocket. It's a rocket launch. And I don't think the boosters have probably already gone back to Cape Canaveral, but it'll be going. I don't know. It's all pretty cool to me. But again, I'm semi-educated about it, but I'm not positive. All right, getting back to Ryan, what's your opinion about 2026? My opinion, I kind of started with this, Ryan, is that the next 14 days look pretty quiet. They look mild, as the map shows. Mild and quiet, most of us can wrap our heads around. The rest of the winter, we're battling the sun angle. We're battling the fact that we're heading toward the vernal equinox. So March is just a huge battle. It can be beautiful one day and snowy the next. I distinctly remember in March or April of 1984. I was a freshman at Cornell University, and a bunch of us were out playing basketball. Winters in Ithaca are horrible, okay? It doesn't snow a lot, but it's cold and drizzly like all the time. It's called ithacation or ithacating. And that first like 70-degree day happens, and we're all out playing pickup basketball. We're supposed to be studying, shaking off the cabin fever, and we're playing basketball. It's beautiful. Next day, no joke, 14 inches of snow. Right back into the doldrums. I went from shorts, T-shirts, basketball, near 70 to over a foot of snow. I'll never forget it because I was also studying meteorology at the time. So it's one of those things that sticks in my head. Okay, so anything can happen in March, and usually does. Yes, we could have one or two big snowstorms. Yeah, it happens. March is, I think our second snowiest month. But at the same time, I've played golf on St. Patrick's Day in shorts. It happens. March throws everything at us. And we know it can still snow, although it's lower impact in April, and it's even snowed in May in Connecticut. So let's pump the brakes. Winter is far from over, but I think the worst of it, we're close to saying that the worst of winter is over as far as 20 below wind chills, the Arctic blasts that we had earlier this month and in January. You can hope. You can only hope, right? Let's see what Jay's up to, or John. John, I think this is going to be interesting. Terms like bombogenesis, bomb cyclone, thunder snow, etc., were never used when I was growing up. Are they more prevalent now because meteorologists share more of the science with us, or because these weather phenomena are more common with the changing climate? What a great and astute and intelligent question. Something that we don't always find on social media. Let's talk about it. We got some time. We got all the time in the world. John, great question. The terms have always been there. There's a definition for bomb cyclone, an area of low pressure that drops 24 millibars in 24 hours. It's always been there, and it's probably always happened. But the amount of weather coverage that you get, and TV is only a tiny segment of it now. I mean, bomb cyclones have been happening since the beginning of meteorology, but we maybe didn't know about it because of, let's go back to the 50s and 60s. We barely had satellite data. So how could we look at something out in the middle of the Atlantic and say, hey, that's going through bombogenesis, or it's a bomb cyclone? We just didn't look at stuff that was already past us. And a storm rarely goes through bombogenesis west of us. It happens south of us along the jet stream and the Gulf Stream. And usually it happens after it goes past us. It's always happened. I don't know if we cared. Why now? Because there's so much coverage of weather, especially on social media, that it's become a headline, right? Al Roker didn't know what a bomb cyclone was in 1978. but it happened. I'm sure the blizzard of 78 went through it, but nobody called it that. Maybe we didn't track the weather every hour, every minute the way we do now. So the terms have always been there. Are they happening more often? Possibly because of the changing climate, but possibly not. How do you draw all these correlations? It's hard. It's not that simple. Thunder snow has always been there. But maybe we just didn't jump up and down about it like Jim Cantore. I grew up with thunder snow, and it happened, and you went, oh, that's cool. And you moved on with your life. Now it becomes this epic social media, YouTube viral sensation, and we hear about it. Storms have been happening in Lake Tahoe for 1,000,000 years. Now it becomes a headline because there's a lot of weather coverage. Too much? I don't know, right? Too much noise? I don't know. So I just have my little corner of the world, and I try to inform people. So I think it's, John, to answer your question, I think it's because there's just so much stuff out there. I mean, if you spend time, like you're watching me right now, the algorithm is saying you love weather. So you're going to get more and more weather stuff in your feed. And that's can be problematic because there's a lot of noise out there. I'm not going to criticize anybody. Everybody has an opinion, just like everybody has a you know what, and everybody has a forecast. So it is what it is, and you're going to see more and more of it the longer you watch these feeds. It's just the way it goes. April 1st, 1997, April Fool's Day storm. I was here for that, but was I here for that? I'd have to go back and look. We didn't have cell phones with cameras, but yes, the April Fool's Day storm. Wait a minute, Jay, remind me. Were you in stores by any chance? That was a storm that hit eastern Connecticut, I think, more so than some of the valleys or hills in western Connecticut. If I'm thinking of the right one, it was a debacle to forecast. And I want to say Wyndham, Towland, northern New London County, those counties got hit worse, maybe up into Worcester County, if I'm remembering correctly. I think that's the one that jumps out in my brain. I'll be so happy to see spring. Yes, I think you'll start to feel it just a little bit. Hey, 49 on Tuesday. If that happens, it'll feel great. And I will be sitting outside and I will be getting ready for mud season, but it doesn't mean we can't flip back. South Boston, and you're correct. Okay. Thank you. Ryan, thanks, Bob. Very happy on melting because it made I made the U.S. team. Oh, Special Olympics for representative of the state of Connecticut and going to Minnesota. Woo! Ryan, congratulations, my man. That is exciting. Going to Minnesota in June. Will I see you at the winter game? I haven't even heard. I mean, it's almost March. I find out if I'm hosting the winter games. Yeah, I haven't heard. I have for the last, 15 years. Got to reach out. Yeah, Jay, that's the one I'm thinking of. That was a crazy one. All right, folks, it's 33 minutes. We'll look at the 10-day forecast one last time, and we'll say so long until probably tomorrow. Fair weather today, but the wind is biting. It's not biting like it bit on Saturday, but it's breezy and chilly. Or windy and chilly, matters. Let's see. We're all going to have spring fever next week. Yes, you are, Jen. Yes. Fair weather into the weekend. I think we'll see plenty of sunshine. You'll notice your shadows are shorter. The sun has more of an impact. Let's say you're out and about running some errands on Saturday, going to the card store, getting a nice big Valentine card. I'll see you there. Box of chocolates, maybe some flowers, maybe a nice dinner out. We talked about having dinner out. My wife said, maybe we'll just hang in. I said, gosh, I love you. That's why I've been married for 30 years. So that's Valentine's Day. You'll feel the sun, though. I think this weekend, with the compaction of the snow, I think I will do some snowshoeing. Because you don't, I mean, 18 inches, 20 inches of powder that we had at my house, you're going to sink. But I think this weekend, snowshoeing with a sweatshirt just sounds really inviting to me. Really inviting. And then next week, we turn even milder. Now, a couple things we can touch upon before we say goodbye is root for the snow melt and refreeze. If you're able, get a snow shovel brush thing and get it off your roof. Call a roofing company if you have a lot of snow and a steep roof. You're getting some nice melting, but ice dams are real. They can create issues. My house has been around since the 1700s. The addition was put on in the 1970s. It seems to avoid roof issues. So I have ice dams, but the water doesn't seem to come back into the house. Let's hope, unless we get a 2-inch rainstorm and 60-degree weather. And that's, again, something we don't want. The rain will help it go away. Yeah, Sharon, we don't want too much. We don't want too much at all. We don't want too much at one time. Okay, we do not. No, I don't care how much you hate winter. You don't root for 55 and 1.5 inches of rain, because all heck will break loose. Especially goes up if a storm were to form, and it will at some point, and snow melt in Vermont, New Hampshire, and upstate New York, fill our rivers like the Housatonic and the Connecticut, and we can have all sorts of problems. So, knock on wood, we don't see that happening in the next 14 days. Let's hope it doesn't happen in the next 40 days. All right. So we'll leave you with that. Awesome. Well, I did it again. We'll leave you with that awesome thought. So it's Thursday, the 12th of February. You got 2 days until Valentine's Day. You got a winter break coming up for so many. I think if you're going north, I know a lot of people ski here in Connecticut, and that's awesome. We got beautiful ski areas, but people do venture north. I think there's some really nice conditions. I think you might have a small amount of powder on Saturday, because that clipper system usually overproduces. Parts of Vermont have been picking up snow for the last 72 hours, thanks to upsloping. Snowmobiling, vastly improved. Nordic alpine skiing. Now I'm getting jealous. I think it's a green light go for the holiday weekend. All right. So do what you want to do and enjoy it. Let me just fix my chair, because I feel like I'm sitting down low. Get out there and enjoy it. Okay. And as always, we finish you off by saying, be safe out there. Stop at stoplights. Don't race through yellow lights. Don't go through red lights. Be kind at four-way stops. You see where I'm going with this? Let's just be cognizant of others, and just in general, be kind. Have a great day, everybody.